Welcome back, everybody, to episode number 226 of Behind the Ears podcast. I am Uncle Danny, as we bring you another interview from our live recording of our marathon show for Give Kids a World. We have Miss Whitney Whikam, who is a Disney cosplayer and also a star of a fan-made film called Star Wars Scoundrels: A Smuggler's Tale. We interviewed her a few weeks ago, and it was absolutely fantastic, so we decided to bring her back on. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope you enjoy the show, and thank you for downloading.
You're listening to the Behind the Ears podcast, because everybody does Disney differently. The Behind the Ears podcast crew would like to thank the following sponsors for their generous support. Hey everybody, it's Mr. Chris, and I got to tell you about Expedition Roasters. Listen, I'm a pretty big coffee drinker, just like a lot of you are, but these people have got coffee right. Their coffees are made from selectively sourced premium and specialty grade Arabica beans. They provide the absolute best flavor and aroma, and select roasts even come directly from a single estate farm for a truly perfect cup that is never bitter. They've got awesome Disney-inspired flavors such as Roundhouse Roast, Route 66, Skipper's Brew, Dark Side Roast, Redhead Rum, and one of my favorites, Bobsledder's Brew. Listen, if you want to have the taste of Disney in every cup, give them a try today. ExpeditionRoasters.com, and Behind the Ears podcast listeners gets an extra 20% off your first order by using the coupon code EARS20. That's right, EARS20. And you can find them over at ExpeditionRoasters.com. Brew your happy place. If you have a little one and you're going to Walt Disney World, you're going to need a stroller. I'll tell you what, KingdomStrollers.com is the place where you want to look into. I'll tell you, I've destroyed my fair share of strollers while at Walt Disney World, and those things are not cheap. But getting something from KingdomStrollers.com, they'll be able to help you pick out the perfect stroller for you. And the nice part is that because they're a Disney preferred provider, they'll be able to drop it off and pick it up right from your Disney resort at no extra charge. So if you don't want to necessarily destroy your stroller in the process and you want to have a great Disney vacation with your little one, contact KingdomStrollers.com and they'll set you right up. That's KingdomStrollers.com.
Yeah. All right, so why don't we do this? Why don't we bring on our next guest? I need to step back to reshare everywhere because I've got too many screens messed up. So, next up we have one of our favorite interviews we just did a few weeks ago with Whitney Whikam. I'm gonna let Chris handle the beginning of it. Please don't think, Whitney, that I'm doing this on purpose. I just need to step away to get this shares out. So, ladies and gentlemen, she is giving me some angry signs from our green room. I'm a little intimidated to bring her on. So let's bring her on here. Let's get this going.
Angry eyes.
How you doing today, Whitney?
Hi, good. How are you?
Very well. So I'm going to step away because you just scared me a little bit.
Sure, right. I'm an angel. I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know what angry sign you were thinking that I did.
All right, guys. Well, enjoy the interview. I will be back here in a few minutes.
Oh, my gosh. That's funny. Whitney, how you doing, my friend?
I'm great. How are you?
Oh, busier than anybody's business. I mean, it's been absolutely crazy insane. And I'm really glad to have you back on the show. Thanks for joining us today.
I'm so glad to be back.
Oh, so I mean, I know you have been extraordinarily busy over the past several weeks as well. I don't know how you have time.
I don't. It's so funny because the day after I did your guys' podcast, my life just took like a total left turn from what I've been doing for the past 2 years. And all of a sudden I got all of these messages saying, we love you to model. We'd love you to model. We'd love you to model. So that's what I've been doing for the past 3 weeks, is like nothing but modeling gig after modeling gig after modeling gig. So I think that that's really funny because that wasn't even really on my radar.
I know you briefly mentioned on how you're, during, especially, I think it was during the show, it may have been partially after, some of the after conversation we had. And actually, I really need to pause here for a second. I need to actually introduce you because I know you and not everyone else does. I'm sorry about that. Which also just goes to show everybody that, we love it when guests return, and sometimes it's just like we pick up the conversation where we left off. Unfortunately, I did that, but you guys may not know Whitney. Whitney is an actress, a model, and an awesome cosplayer. And the way that we actually got introduced to one another is that little known fact is that while I've never really done anything in the world of cosplay, I really enjoy the art that is cosplay because it's just such a it's such a detailed oriented, and I use the term art. I do, because there's a lot of passion that goes into it, a lot of time that goes into it. But it's also one of those things where it doesn't matter if you're a beginner or a very much seasoned veteran, such as Whitney, you can have fun with it as well to in essence, become your favorite character. And so, Whitney, why don't you just take a moment, because we've got a lot of new people watching that haven't actually seen our other shows. Why don't you just give us a brief introduction of who you are and some of the things that you bring, not only to, just basically bring to the Disney community and some of the things that you enjoy.
Sure. Well, like Chris said, I am a cosplayer. That's one of the things that I've been doing for forever, but the past 2 years have really been focused on cosplay. Specifically, I'm known for my Rey cosplay from Star Wars. You do gotta, tote all the Jedi symbols here. But I also do a lot of charity events as other characters. So there's lots of pictures and videos of me doing things as Disney princesses. So I actually have a gig later on today doing a charity event. So I'm always doing charity events. I guess this sort of counts as a charity event too, because we're raising money for a very specific charity. So that's pretty cool. Yep. And then, that's kind of what I do. I recently did a Star Wars short, a fan film that came out a couple weeks ago, like the same week that we did our interview, I think. So
about a May 4th, which is the 4th with you.
The big thing.
And that was, Scoundrels, Star Wars, or A Smuggler's Tale. And I got to tell you, that was actually really a great fan film. I know we were plugging it. We had a wonderful conversation with Chad and Mark, who, Mark was the one that kind of produced the film. Chad did the original soundtrack for it, which is just phenomenal. I really honestly couldn't believe that, this was an original soundtrack for a fan film and just a high level of quality it was.
Plus, he was the big bad in it too, yes, which they kind of kept a big secret. And it was really funny because everybody kept talking about the music. But everybody that knows Chad, not one person knew that he was in the film except for maybe a couple people. And nobody seemed to say anything about the fact that suddenly he's the big bad in the film. They're all like, "Oh, Chad, great job on the music." And he's like, "Do you have anything to say about the big performance?" And they're like, Oh, yeah. Oh, that was you. Oh, that's right. Yeah, you were in it.
Well, the funny part about it is that when Chad and I were communicating via email beforehand, I pretty much only knew him as, the musical director and composer. And he's like, but that's how I want to be introduced. That's the only part of what I want to be known for. And I didn't quite understand it until afterwards. I'm looking through, I'm like, dude, that's Chad. I was like, I'm like, okay, this is really kind of odd. But actually, I know you and I haven't had a chat since I've seen the film. But the cool part is that I swear you have a natural English accent. and the funny part of like, how in the world did she go through a whole script with an English accent? It was like you basically owned that character with that type of dialect. It was awesome, man.
Thank you. Well, that actually didn't even start off with an English accent. I auditioned with my normal voice, my normal timbre, got up there to film, and we were doing like a rehearsal for the scene. There's a scene at the beginning where I'm kind of in a little bit of a scuff. I won't give away too much in case somebody hasn't seen it, but there's a bit of a scuff at the beginning of the film, and it's not a big deal or anything, but we were going to be on a cliff face, and the cliff face itself is like a 300-foot drop down. And so, but the only way to get the look is to film it in the location. So we were very nervous, and I'm terrified of heights, and everybody else is a little bit nervous too, because if something goes wrong, somebody's going off the edge of this cliff. So we're trying, yes. So we're like trying to make sure that every step is calculated 100%. You know, it's take 3 steps and then push. And as we're practicing this, suddenly Mark kind of looks at me and he goes, I don't know, something's off with the way you talk. And I was like, wow, thanks, Mark. Like, what's wrong with my speech? I don't like he's like, no, I don't mean like rudely or anything, but for the character, I don't know. There's something that's not quite jiving and I can't quite put my finger on it. And I was like, okay, well, what do we do? So we spent the next half hour kind of going through vocal timbers, you know, like lowering my voice a little bit, talking a little bit more gruff or talking a little bit more whimsical or whatever it was. And finally, I was just like, you know, a lot of the other parts that I play, I get to do an English accent. And he was like, give it a shot. And keep in mind, we're going to go film a scene in like 15 minutes. So I was like, okay. So I just jump in and he goes, that's it. You're British now. And I was like, okay, great. So we went and filmed in 15 minutes and there it was.
Wow. I mean, it was really, really pretty awesome. And in case I see some people actually mentioning in the comments, they want to know, basically if you do a look for Scoundrels, A Smuggler's Tale, and it's a fan film, and I think it's actually under Mark's Facebook account, and look under Mark Seaton, Seaton, on YouTube, and you will find it there. And
yes, and there's actually another film that came out the same day that's also called Smugglers, but it's not Star Wars Smugglers. You know,
okay.
It's actually Star Wars Scoundrels, A Smuggler's Tale. So there's another film out there that's called Scoundrels, and it came out on the same day. And so I know a lot of people were very confused about, well, which one's your guys's? And even on the other side, there were people that accidentally watched ours. I mean, watch both. Because you should. I mean, you should be able to give love to every project that's out there. You know, sure. I'm not saying that ours is better or theirs is better or anything like that. Like, it's all art. It's all Star Wars related. So go watch them both. But we would get comments like, oh, I didn't see so-and-so in it. And we're like, other film, you know, like it's the other Scoundrels.
And I know in case you can't find it, we do have links over on the WDW community page, as well as the Behind the Ears podcast Facebook page. Just scroll back a little bit, and there are definitely some links there as well. So with that said, I mean, we talked quite a bit about the film with Chad and Mark, and I know that they put a lot of effort into it. So we got a full story, you know, both from, you know, some things that you did, as well as, of course, from them and their perspective. And, you know, it's definitely a form of art, and you are an artist in no matter what category you have been working in. So let me kind of ask you this. You know, and we talked a little bit during the last time you were on about basically inspiring to inspire, or aspiring to aspire, and that really meant a lot to me, because I think that it just says something that no matter what you do, you can use what you love to inspire others. And a lot of the things that we're talking about now is, you know, basically a lot of being able to give families and, you know, kids hope, to take away some of the thought processes of the daily grind. And to a lot of these kids that are going through this crap. Sorry, I shouldn't really put it like that. I'm getting, until I've been on the air for so long, I'm just like, but a lot of the kids that are really, really dealing with a lot of stuff. And, you know, I'm going to say it's a lot of crap. You know, kids shouldn't have to go through some of these things that are causing a lot of problems in their lives. And if anybody's offended by that, forgive me. It's not my intention. You should all know where my heart is on that. But the thing is that, you know, to go along with that, like you said, you do some charity events. You're going to one later, as a matter of fact. And I think that is completely awesome. If you can just share a small story about, you know, some of the things that you have seen that really can aspire to inspire others, no matter what they're doing, that would be awesome. Would you be okay with that?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, it's interesting that you bring it up, because it's kind of I want to say it's like 2 years now, 2-year anniversary of me being accepted into the Rebel Legion, which is the light side version of the 501st. Most people know the 501st more because everybody loves the Stormtrooper, everybody loves Darth Vader. And while you do love, like Wedge Antilles and things like that, it's a little bit more known to be a trooper. Everybody looks at a trooper and they go, oh, I know you're a stormtrooper, whether it be a clone trooper or, a death trooper. Everybody knows what a stormtrooper looks like. But when you see a generic Jedi, sometimes people are like, oh, I don't know who you are. They expect every person that has a face visible to be somebody that's known. And it's like, no, sometimes it's a generic thing. But Rebel Legion does a lot of the same work. We're technically the same group of people. We just have a separate affiliation. Separate, I don't know why. There's been a whole lot of things. We won't go into the politics of it because I don't talk politics, but they've been trying to put them together for a while. A lot of people want it. A lot of people don't. So anyway, we do a lot of charity work with them. And 2 years ago, for my anniversary of joining the Rebel Legion, there was this huge charity event in Chicago. And it technically wasn't with the Rebel Legion, but there were a lot of Rebel Legion people there. And it was for Make-A-Wish Foundation, which I'm sure a lot of you have heard of. And if you haven't, Make-A-Wish is a great organization. What they do is they grant wishes to children that have terminal illnesses. Mm-hmm. And so a lot of these kids are kind of running into a situation where they maybe have lost a lot of hope for life and what's going to happen to them because they've been told for so long that they only have, X amount of time here. And so it's really difficult for parents too. I'm a parent and I can't imagine ever being told that my kid only has so much time and going through all the difficulties. Now I'm starting to get emotional, the difficulties that come with fighting a terminal illness. And so I went to this event and it was about 500 people there that were families that had come from the entire region. It wasn't just Chicago. They came from Northwest Indiana. They came from Wisconsin, and anywhere that they could drive from to come to this fundraiser. And I latched on to this one little boy who was very struck by Star Wars. He loved Star Wars. And he came over and he was dancing with me. And I picked him up and we danced for like 45 minutes. I mean, by the end, I was sweating. It was so hot in the room. But he was like maybe 3 or 4 years old, had, terminal cancer and wasn't going to have much time to live. And his mom came over and was like, you don't have to hold on to him that long. And I was like, no, it's fine. I love, having this interaction with him. And as I put him down, he looked at me and he said, I'm so glad that I finally got to meet you. And you could just see this look in his eyes that he, for that time that we were there, had this moment of, he wasn't thinking about what he was fighting. He wasn't thinking about the doctors, the nurses, being in a hospital, what it's like to be stuck in a bed. He was there having fun. And it's such an important thing to be able to bring even just the tiniest moment of joy to somebody when they're, whether it be fighting a terminal illness or fighting their own personal demons, or maybe having a situation at school or with their family, to take your mind off of it. Because, I mean, we say that laughter is the greatest medicine, but what if you can't reach laughter? What if you're so low in your life that everything's going wrong that reaching laughter on your own isn't possible? I'm sure a lot of people watching or listening have been in that situation before. And when you can't find that moment of happiness on your own and you're searching and you finally just say, you know what, there's nothing left joyful in the world for me. That's the moment when people give up. But if somebody else can sort of give that spark and say, no, look, here's a bit of joy for you, and then sort of bring them back to the light. you know, we've got cookies.
on the light side. You don't want to go to the dark side. Absolutely.
Exactly. So it was just a very special moment, and that kicked off my Rebel Legion affiliation. And it was also that particular event was run through a group called Costumers with a Cause, which I totally forgot to mention last time. And that's another group that I'm part of. Unfortunately, here in Scottsdale, we don't have Costumers with a Cause, but they are in the Chicagoland area and they're in Florida as well. And they're another great group of people that they're all cosplayers that take their costume same sort of concept. They go to charity events and walks and fundraisers and things like that as the characters, free of charge, obviously. So if that's something that you need for your charity or your fundraiser, please reach out to Costumers with a Cause, or go online if you're looking for Star Wars characters specifically and talk to the Rebel Legion or the 501st, or both if you like, and ask them for aid, because we are more than happy to attend your events and help bring that joy to the people that attend.
Absolutely. I'm gonna ask this joke, and it's meant totally and completely humorous. In humor, can't talk. You ever see members of the 501st at the Rebel Legion at the same event?
Yes, all the time.
Okay.
All the time. And I think I have it on my Facebook page. There's actually a picture. When I moved down here to Scottsdale, I did an event called Kids in Capes, which is a walk for charity as well. It's kids that are fighting illnesses. A lot of them have like multiple sclerosis and things like that. So they had me come up to Flagstaff, and I walk in and there's not a single RL member to be seen, not one. And I'm like, great. So I'm the only light sider here. This is wonderful. I've got like 10 against 1. And so we went over to take these pictures on like, the red carpet walk or whatever. And I turn over to the stormtrooper and I was like, can we just get along for like the remainder of this event? And I put up half a heart like this. And then he, without even pausing, puts the other half up to the heart. So there's a picture of me as Rey, and then the stormtrooper, 2 totally different time periods, because he's a New Hope stormtrooper and, I was Rey. So totally different timeline, but we didn't care. So there's a picture of him and I kind of going like this to each other. I think on my Facebook page. So, and if it's not there, I'll post it. That way everybody can see.
That's tripping. I mean, that is definitely just something that is way too funny to ignore.
I mean, their motto is bad guys doing good. So like, that's their whole mantra. So yeah, we do events together all the time, and we'll do funny little things. Like back in Chicago, I did a photo shoot and I had to go be Elsa for a little bit. And so I had done all of my Rey stuff and got out of costume and was getting into Elsa. And I had like 10 minutes or something like that. And all of my friends were like, you need to come over. We need to take a picture with Elsa and the stormtroopers. And so they actually cuffed me, because this was around the time of the merger. So they cuffed Elsa, and it's like Kylo Ren, General Hux, and then a bunch of First Order troopers standing around me. And I'm like this, all cuffed. And then, of course, the Queen had to get into a lightsaber battle with Kylo Ren, and I won because she's the Queen.
You know what? That is. Gosh, sometimes you hear stories like this, and I just want to say, "Man, I wish I was there." I mean, yeah, it's like you almost want to say, you kind of had to be there to get the full effect. And the fact of the matter is, I can picture that, and I could just picture the look on your face, and
that picture's actually on the Facebook page. I know for a fact it's one of my favorite pictures, and it's. Some people get it, some people don't. I think it really has to do with you when it was posted at the time. Then it was like super popular because everybody's like, oh, that's so funny because of the merger. Oh my gosh. And then after the merger, it was kind of like, I don't get it. Like, why Elsa with the stormtroopers? That makes no sense.
Well, it's kind of funny. You talk about Elsa and stormtroopers. I mean, there was, and I want to say this, and I wish I can give credit where credit is due, because I can't remember the organization that did this. But there was a group of cosplayers that had all the different princesses and princes done up in very similar to Boba Fett clones.
Yep.
You probably know what I'm referring to.
I do, yes.
And so and it was funny because they would have like Anna and Elsa in this crossover type outfit, kind of doing their usual pose with their backs to one another and stuff like that. And it was like, oh my gosh, that is like so funny. And I mean, because you obviously have to think of some of these things in the crossover type characters that just really make it unique. And I know I get it. I like to see the crossovers. In fact, I still gotta talk to my friend that I call it the Scottish Stormtrooper, because he has a kilt on, But it's
Are
all
you talking about Mike?
No.
No?
No. His name is Franz. Franz. Different Franz than you know. You don't know the guy.
I don't know a Franz, period. I'm just saying it's a fun name.
I know that you've probably seen Franz's elsewhere, dude. I mean, I'm just. I'll have to send you a link because he does a great job. In fact, I'm actually going to see if for some reason he is going to go to the Star Wars celebration in Chicago next April. All I know is I am waiting for June to come along. It was kind of funny because I saw the announcement for it on your Facebook page first. And I was like, oh yeah, so going to be there. But then my son came home from school and I walked downstairs like, dude, would you, I was kind of hesitant because I'm like, would you like to do this? He looked at me and goes, yes, I would. Oh my gosh. Okay. So my son, who normally neither one of us has ever been to a con before of some sorts. Now he's like, I'd love to do that. I'm like, score. And being a local, it makes it a little bit easier for me to be able to attend that, type of thing. So I can't wait. In fact, by the way, Danny, just to let you know, in case you see an email, I actually put our name in for advertising for that particular event, just for fun to see what they would say and how much it would be. I'm not even going to guess on how much it would be.
It'll be a lot. It'll be a lot. I'll tell you that much. But it would be worth it. There's people from all over the world come to this event, and it's really made me miss Chicago. I've been missing Chicago something fierce the past couple weeks. It's just been
partially because you don't have good pizza down there.
Well,
they have an Uno's here. Like they have everything Chicago here because there's so many transplants from the Chicago. Yeah, it's a Chicago.
I don't even want to have a conversation. I stayed quiet. I let you guys do your Star Wars thing. We're not talking pizza. We can talk pizza, but I'm talking about the deep dish Chicago. You don't know what pizza is. I said a minute ago, Pizza Hut. I'm
sorry.
No, Pizza Hut's not pizza.
I should have. What was I thinking? I should have never have brought that up in front of Danny because that's. I just threw the gauntlet down, and
I had pizza last night, and it was delicious. It was made in Jersey.
See, I can't even eat pizza, so that's like the sad part because I'm gluten-free, dairy-free because I have tons of food allergies, so I can't even enjoy pizza, but I like to watch people enjoy pizza. It's sort of a weird thing. It's not like a fetish of mine where I'm like, here, eat this pizza and I'll watch you, but it's
I was gonna say, do you need a video? Like just me just slowly eating pizza? Like, yes. I'm down for whatever when it comes to pizza.
But I love like the camaraderie that pizza brings to the table. I don't know. When I was a kid, like going to like with your family when you go to the Disney parks and you go to the pizza places and stuff like that, and you see all these families sitting around and they're just eating like slices of pizza and stuff. It's such a great little thing, and you can get it on the go, and I don't know, I just like that. So, but yeah, Chicago and the lovely celebration thing, it just made me real. I was like, why do I not live here anymore? Like, this is so frustrating. So the first thing that I did, I got like 15 text messages from all of my friends. They're like, you're coming home for this, right? Like, you're coming home for this. And I was actually going to pick up my kids, so I hadn't seen the announcement. And I just I busted into tears, and I immediately texted my friend Kale, who plays my Finn a lot. And I still say that, even though I've been here like exactly a year now in Scottsdale, he's still my Finn. He'll always be my Finn. And I wrote him and I said, Finn, Ray's coming home. And we both just started crying. And then I put it on Facebook and I was like, everybody, it's a Ray union. Ha ha ha.
That's awesome.
So I'm hoping things work out that we can be there next year, because the last two celebrations that I went to were absolutely amazing. There's so many cosplayers that come, lots of mashups, but even more so just being that close to everybody who also loves the Star Wars universe is massive. And I know a lot of people are upset that it's in Chicago, especially down here. They were hoping that it was going to be in Anaheim again, because Anaheim was apparently really good. I don't know. I didn't go to that one. But Chicago, come on, McCormick Place. It's one of the biggest convention centers in the world. It's going to be amazing. Absolutely amazing.
It was kind of funny because I actually, like the day after, I get a phone call from a good friend of mine. He used to be a coworker of mine, now works for another company. He lives down in Dallas, and he is a part of one of the droid associations, and he's got himself a most excellent R2. And so that he built himself from scratch, and he's got himself a Vader costume that is, oh my gosh. Well, it's also, it's a very intimidating Vader costume because he's like, it's a very intimidating Vader costume because he's like 6'8" to begin with. So he's a towering Vader. Anyway, so I usually get a call from him sometime in the middle of the day when he gets lunch. All of a sudden, it's 9 o'clock in the morning. The phone rings. Caller ID says this, and I pick up the phone. I said, "Yes, I'm going to go." And he's like, "Exactly what I was going to call you about." And so I was talking to him, and he's like, "Dude, I already got my hotel room," and he's like, "The place that I'm at is already sold out. It's sold out in a matter of hours."
Yep.
And so it's one of those cases. I've also talked to others that actually are fans of our show here, and some people have already rented out houses in Wrigleyville and other places in Chicago. And I'm like, you know what? I'm glad that even before I saw all those types of things, I'm like, I'm going to go because I think it is going to be a great place to meet people for the first time, meet people for, again, and hang out. It is, I realize that there are some people that while Star Wars is, owned by Disney now, there's a lot of people that don't necessarily consider it Disney-esque. There's still people that do, but I'm just saying there are still people that don't. But I'm sitting here thinking to myself, this is going to be a most excellent type of thing to do. I'm glad it is in Chicago. Of course, I'm kind of biased, but hey, everybody else is going to have to fight traffic. I just have to get to the train.
Right. Yeah, you're lucky that way. See, and that's why I'm like, oh man, I still wish that I lived in Valparaiso because then it's only like an hour drive, not that big of a deal, or I could take the train like you were saying. And now I have to fly and figure out what to do. Maybe we'll camp or something. I don't know. Like, because everywhere downtown is going to be sold out already. It is what it is. It's
the thing is, my friend was telling me, first off, because there are people that were upset because of how much it was going to cost. Because I guess like an Anaheim rooms were like $250. This year, like the room that he got was $350. And by the time that they were done and almost sold out, prices jumped up for this one particular hotel to $550. And then they're totally sold.
So price gouging right there.
Yep.
It's the Chicago way. And so let me tell you a little something.
He does a lot of good voices. That he always goes that one. It's not good. Don't encourage it. Between that and his choice in pizza, don't encourage these things.
Whitney,
do you have a Mickey ring that people can kiss when they meet you at Celebration? That you could do that voice and you get like a little Mickey ring, and they have to like get down on one knee and kiss the ring.
No, but I know a guy.
I got a guy.
Oh, funny thing you said that.
Dan, you need one too, though. You need matching rings,
like Power Rangers. And we put them together.
They combine with our powers combined.
Whitney, I know you are a really busy person, but I think I am going to have to go into character somehow. It may be the very first time anybody sees me in any sort of character, but it's got to be something that I think my son and I can do together. And I think that would actually be. Could I mix in like an Al Capone component with
absolutely
Al Capone, like RTD.
Dude, Al Capone used to vacation 3 blocks from where I live.
Al Capone owned, and people in my area know I'm not lying, Al Capone owned a hotel that I can see from my front lawn. It's now a retirement home. It's beautiful, though. Well, it was beautiful. It's actually dilapidated now.
Oh my gosh! We are kind of running out of time, and Whitney, we're going to have you on again if you don't mind.
I would love that.
I'd love talking with you about these types of things, and the thing is that originally I kind of talked about this whole thing about being inspired, and how our initial conversation we had was very inspiring, and to go and be inspiring to others. And that was the kind of the main thing, even though it was a little bit repetitive from the last time. I think it's something that is very important. But at the same time, we all have fun with this too. I think the next time we talk, I'd really like to talk more about your love for Disney and of itself. So that would be the conversation that we would have next time.
Sure.
But by all means, okay.
Hold on,
I'll have to warn you, it's kind of weird, but you know.
Wait a minute. You said, why is it weird? I gotta know. You can't end on that.
My obsession with Disney has begun since probably when I was born. Okay. I don't know, like I was just the kid that if a new Disney movie came out, suddenly I was obsessed with it until the next one came out. So like when Aladdin came out, I went and grabbed a bunch of tablecloths and started sewing my own Jasmine costume. I think I sewed like the same thing over and over again for a couple months until my mom was just like, whatever, I'm just going to make you one because this is going to take forever. And then I made it like too small and stuff. But yeah, just like walking out of school, I would put my face in a book and I would like literally sing out loud, like with her nose stuck in a book as I would walk out of school. And people are like looking at me like, what is the matter with her? And I'm like, oh, isn't this amazing? It is recess and you all can play. And I would just change the words to songs and stuff. So I was a very, very bizarre child who just Disney was my life. It is my life. I'm
a very bizarre adult. My Disney, so
my goal actually had been for the longest time to work for the parks as like a stage producer and stuff. So I went and got a master's degree specifically for that, and then they changed the requirements that now you need a doctorate. So I'm like, yeah, I'll never work for you guys. So.
I'm sorry.
It's all right. I can enjoy it still. We can all still enjoy the parks and be happy that we're there. So
now, Chris, you need to ask her one question before we leave.
What's that?
I don't know. The question you asked all of them. Are you kidding me?
Well, I didn't know. I'm old. I'm losing my mind every day. It's also like past lunchtime. I'm getting a little bit hangry.
It's getting peckish.
Yeah, I know. I'm going to have to send a message on to my wife. Send corn dog nuggets. So, Whitney, I didn't get a chance to share the link out, but you were going to provide an offer to those listening today in order to help contribute towards Give Kids World Village. Why don't you go ahead and give that a shout out really quick, and also give a shout out to all your social media and websites where people can find you and your, the things that you do and everything else.
Sure. Well, I actually just started a new Instagram account because, like I said, I've been kind of going into the modeling and acting a little bit more seriously. So my main Instagram account has switched over to that, and that's Whitney.Whikam. But there's a new Instagram account that's Whitney Whikam Cosplay, and that's just nothing but cosplay. So there won't be anything else on there. So if you're not interested in the modeling pics and the bikini pics and things like that, it's, that's the super family friendly site where it's all like Anna, Elsa, Belle, blah, blah, blah. So Whitney Whikam Cosplay, all one word. My Facebook page is Whitney Whikam Creative, and on there you'll find a Store Envy link. If you go on there, anything that you purchase in that store from now until Monday, all the proceeds will go towards your guys' fundraiser. So that's kind of cool. And then if there's a picture on my page or someplace that you've seen that you would like a print of, unless it's something that I don't own the rights to, just let me know and I can definitely get you at least a 5x7 print. So just let me know. And 5x7s, I charge $8 just to cover shipping and printing costs and things like that. But then everything else will go to you guys. You can also find me on Twitch, Twitter. I'm everywhere. Most of my links are on my website, whitneywhicam.com. And then don't forget to go check out Scoundrels, the one that I was in first, and then the other one.
And everybody, as I said, the links for Scoundrels is over at the WDW community page, as well as probably a little bit easier to find over at the Behind the Ears podcast page. Whitney, thank you so much for once again.
Oh. You didn't ask her the appropriate question.
Oh, I have to.
Was that an inappropriate question?
I like where your mind goes so quick. I like that.
Appropriate question? Okay, so really quick, because I know we're running over, but that's okay. So if you were stuck on a Walt Disney World ride for 1 hour, what ride would you want it to be?
Haunted Mansion.
That's a good one. Nice and dark.
100%.
I don't like the little lap bar they pulled down. I'm too big for it, but I like how dark and cool it is.
I like it because it changes during Christmas and then has Jack Skellington, and that's like an obsession of mine also. So yeah, I'm kind of I look like fluffy and cute, but I'm actually kind of a dark soul. So
I respect that.
I'm a goth girl at heart.
God, I thought you said golf girl. I'm like, how do you go from,
I like golf.
like
I must.
golf.
Probably have to do that now that I live in Scottsdale, since
You're
it's
gonna
nothing but
have
golf
to.
here.
No, that would be going over to the dark side.
Stop
true.
it. All right, Whitney, thank you so much for being a part of this. It was
Thank you.
absolutely fantastic to have you on.
Love you guys. I hope you have a
too.
wonderful rest of the podcast, and everybody, may the force be with you.
Bye now.
We'll be with you as well. We'll talk to you soon.
Always a great time interviewing her. Always a great time. I mean, you did most of the interviewing, but it was a fantastic interview. I was literally sitting just like this. You can't see it.
Uh-oh.
No. That was just showing where I was. I know no one could see what I did, but I was just in our green room sharing away and, looking over analytics real quick while you interviewed, and I got to listen to it. And it's nice being able to run a podcast, but be able to kind of sit back as an actual listener and just to take it in for a minute. I am not a Star Wars fan by any stretch of the imagination. So, there are going to be certain times during the shows where we just have different interests, and it just made more sense for Chris to really take harness of it. And Chris, your corn dog nuggets will be ready in 25 minutes.
Oh, then you saw something I didn't yet?
Yeah, it's on the screen right now.
Hold on a second. Thanks, honey.
Oh man.
Oh my gosh, that is so funny. I love my wife. She's awesome.
Please go out and reshare the show if you have been watching all day. You're just coming in now. This is the secondary part of it. We have every 4 hours we need to stop and recreate the show just to stay within Facebook guidelines. We all know that Danny needs to stay within the Facebook guidelines because I'm technically still in jail. That's why Danny, the real one with the Y, is not broadcasting, and it's Danny with an I who is broadcasting. Quick update. Last show, we had over 80 shares. This show, we have over 50 shares already. You will see the link is pinned, I should say, to the top, and that's where you can directly donate to the show. We've already given away. Nick won the pair of the what were they? The Main Street Electrical Parade. Wow, it's been so long since we've talked about that.
I was gonna say.
Nick won those. We had one of the Lemon Sister, right? Didn't she win?
She won a set of ears that I have in our inventory here at our the one studio,
the Midwest studio.
We have
2 studios. We have a Midwest and a Northeast studio.
Yeah.
We do later on. We have more giveaways. I've got some tricks up my sleeve for a couple giveaways that nobody knows about yet. Not even Chris doesn't know about these. Just like the magical, just like the ears. No one knew. No one knew I had them.
Secrets don't make friends.
They do now. So let's just give a quick update. I know we do have Jeff Barnes coming up. I believe Jeff Barnes will be. I see him in the green room here. He is linked to come on at 3:30. So we have a few more minutes here before we get involved in that. Let me give you the rest of our lineup. So at 3:30, we have Mr. Jeff Barnes, the author of many Disney books. R.J. Organ, one of the fantastic Disney painter. Does great. I know a lot of people have been wanting to see him. Then we kind of go into a bit of a slew of all our podcasters here. We have Mike Rallman from the Be Our Guest podcast at 5, the Jimmy Horn from the Disney Nerds podcast at 5:45. Then we have the Jess and Alex show where you can, they come live a couple times a month over on the WDW community page. We've been trying to push them to do a little more content. They're both admins over there as well. They will be on at 6:30. At 7:15, we had a cancellation, so we are going to be doing a Grind My Gears call-in section. 8 o'clock, Ryan Lehman from TMR Productions. 8:45, Trent and Jenny from the Disney DNA podcast. 9:30, Divas Dish Diz podcast. And to round up the show at 10:15 is Rudy Clark from the Crazy for Disney podcast. And as of right this moment, let me refresh the page so I have an accurate count. Hold on, it is loading.
Loading.
All right, we have raised. We are at 80% of our goal. We have surpassed last year's by $5. We have raised $1,605 in just under 4.5 hours. So thank you all so much. Quick shout out, Nick, Christine, Albert, Michelle, the Indie Disney Meet, Lindsay, the Diz Dads podcast, Carol, Mike, Becky, Brad, and Rose, Sandra, Linda, and I forgot how to say it again. Oh, did he walk away? Oh, he walked away. Jennifer, Leslie, Anita, Prior Lake, Margie, Steve, Mary, Chris, Maureen, Leanne, Amanda, Nancy, Jeffrey, and another Leanne, all donating fantastic cause. Once again, we are we are raising money for Give Kids the World. And once again, to specify, it's Enrique. I'll remember that. I kept calling him Enrique. I do apologize for butchering of said name. No one wants their name butchered. It's been a great lineup. We've had a lot of fun. We look forward to our upcoming guests. I'm sure me and Chris are also looking forward to that 6:30 spot where you won't have to see our ugly mugs for about a half hour, 40 minutes, as we will take a step away and allow someone else. We're going to give them the keys to the truck and let them start it. So as we approach here, I'll bring Chris back up here. We have a few more minutes here. Just do us a favor. Share it out again. Keep donating, everybody. We are giving away a Dooney purse later on. That's the Tiana. We had some great interviews. Once again, Enchanted Tiki. I would say Enchanted. Expedition Roasters for the next today and tomorrow are donating part of their proceeds to Give Kids the World. Whitney Whikam, we'll throw that link up there. She is donating part of her proceeds to our charity as well. If you buy some of her products online today, we have, I know one of our sponsors, Kingdom Strollers, is giving away a 1-week stroller rental on them, which is an amazing thing. We also have the Lemon Sisters donating a couple candles to us. We have 3 Candyland board games that were designed specifically for Give Kids the World to give away. We've got a slew of more ears, and yeah, we got a lot of stuff coming up. A lot of stuff.
Yep. I'll tell you what, we're going to be doing a giveaway probably shortly after Jeff Barnes is. I think we'll probably do multi giveaways with that. So it's because we've been having too much fun talking and stuff like that. It's like I don't want to wait for till the end for all the giveaways. Well,
do you have your phone ready?
Well, it's all going to all the texts go into the mailbox.
Oh, so that's fine.
Hold on 1 second. Let me clear something.
I was trying to see what I can give away here.
Oh, he's going to give away.
What do I have in my mystery box?
What do you have in your mystery box? What are you doing?
You know what?
What?
Let's do some promo. Let's do my bag of goodies.
See, he's got a bag of goodies. All the stuff I have is downstairs on the dining room table.
All my stuff is laid out on my bed, so I can keep it in order on who wins what. When you tell me later, I have little Post-it notes ready to go. Let's do this. Let me get that number again. Don't say it out loud. Let's make it fair for everybody. I think it was shared over here to this, to that. Nope, that's the wrong chat. It's not in that one. It's got to be in this one. Alrighty, let's minimize that. Let's do this. Minimize this. Right. Texting this number. Should really just write this down. The text this number 321-430-2283. Once again, text 321-430-2283 for your chance to win 2 Behind the Ears podcast pins.
I'm waiting for the first one to come. And let's see.
My phone is not buzzed. The opportunity is still
there. We go. I got it. We got it.
Oh.
It is.
Drum roll, please.
Hold on a second. I think this is funny.
What?
It's Heather Chestnut.
Well, that makes so easy when it comes to shipping. I'll tell you what, it's all going one-stop shop. There we go. Oh, man. Can we do someone who doesn't have their phone to text? Can we do a call-in to win?
You know what? Let's do a call-in. We're going to, no, because I don't have it quite set up. I have to go over my other machine really quick because that's a different number.
Yeah, no problem.
Well, we'll do that
after Jeff Barnes.
After Jeff Barnes.